Mark Martin just issued a warning. The NASCAR legend is concerned about what's coming. Rockingham Speedway is one of the most dangerous tracks in the sport, and Cleetus McFarland, the YouTube sensation with 4.6 million followers, is about to debut there. He just got approved by NASCAR. Mark Martin says this could go very wrong on April 4th. Recently, Cleetus made his NASCAR Truck Series debut at Daytona. Before that, he had some ARCA Menard Series experience. But the truck race was his big National Series moment. It lasted 6 laps. Then, he crashed. Most people thought his NASCAR window had closed, but Richard Childress Racing saw something different. They offered him a 2-year deal, multiple races scheduled across 2026 and 2027. His debut is April 4th at Rockingham Speedway. Now the entire garage is talking. Mark Martin has concerns, and they're serious. Cleetus McFarland is not a traditional NASCAR driver. He didn't grow up in a race car. He built a massive following on YouTube doing what he loves, making videos, talking about cars. He owns a drag strip facility in Florida. His followers are loyal. His content gets millions of views. He's authentic. He's not polished. He's just a guy who loves cars and racing. Mark Martin knows Rockingham. He's raced there hundreds of times. He understands what the track demands. In a recent video, Martin explained why Rockingham is dangerous. The track is high-banked. That means the turns are steep. Drivers lean into the turns at crazy angles. One mistake and you're in the wall. The speeds at Rockingham are brutal. Cars are going nearly 190 miles per hour in the turns. The cars are pushed to the absolute limit of what they can do physically. The G-forces are extreme. The concentration required is total. Martin said looking at turn 1 from the pit road can unnerve even the best drivers. The bank looks impossible. The speed is insane. The margin for error is 0. He emphasized that Rockingham is wicked fast. Understanding what the track requires is paramount. It's not just about success, it's about survival. For a rookie driver, Rockingham is the worst possible place to debut. It's one of the most challenging tracks on the entire schedule. Martin said the best outcome would be if McFarland qualifies somewhere in the middle of the pack. Not trying to win, not trying to battle for position, just trying to survive, just trying to complete all the laps without crashing. If McFarland can finish the race, he'll have accomplished something significant. When news broke that McFarland got approved for NASCAR, people lost it. Not everyone. He has only 6 races in ARCA Menard Series. That's the entry-level NASCAR series. He has 1 NASCAR Truck Series race. He crashed in that race after 6 laps. Yet NASCAR approved him for the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series. That's the second highest professional series. A big jump for someone with so little experience. Critics asked the same question. How did this YouTuber get approved so fast? Some people said it was unfair. Other drivers worked their entire lives to climb the racing ladder. McFarland just showed up with followers and got a ride. Freddie Kraft, a respected racing analyst, was blunt. He said NASCAR shouldn't approve inexperienced drivers for higher series. McFarland should stay in ARCA longer, build experience, then move up. Kraft pointed out that McFarland crashed at Rockingham Test and at Daytona, yet still got approved. Denny Hamlin, a top NASCAR driver, also criticized the decision. He said McFarland looked out of control. His prediction came true when McFarland crashed. Busch pointed out that his own son has more racing experience than McFarland. Why should McFarland get approved before drivers who have worked harder? One reason stands out: money, viewership, fans, growth. McFarland has 4.6 million YouTube followers. When he races, viewership goes up significantly. People who don't normally watch NASCAR tune in to see what this YouTube guy does. His Truck Series debut at Daytona brought massive viewership numbers. Mark Martin understands this better than most. Martin said McFarland brings something valuable to NASCAR. His followers, his energy, his authenticity. He's not manufactured. He's real. Martin said McFarland is more popular than most Cup Series drivers. His following is stronger than any full-time driver in NASCAR. That means ticket sales could go up. TV ratings could improve. New fans could get interested in the sport and stay for years. NASCAR faced a choice: protect the traditional path, keep things how they've always been, risk having an inexperienced driver on track. NASCAR chose growth. NASCAR chose to evolve. Before getting approved, McFarland had to prove something. He tested at Rockingham in a Truck Series car. This was his initial qualification test. During that test, he had an incident. He struggled with the track. He had trouble adapting to the high speeds and banking. It raised concerns. Critics pointed to the difficult test as evidence that McFarland wasn't ready for this level. They said NASCAR was making a mistake approving him. But then something different happened. Richard Childress Racing decided to give him another chance. They saw something in McFarland. They saw potential. They offered him a deal. They would let him race in the O'Reilly Series. RCR is defending series champion with Jesse Love winning last year. They know what it takes to win, and they believed McFarland deserved an opportunity. McFarland had to prove himself again, this time with the actual car he would race. RCR gave him 10 hours of testing, 10 hours on track at Rockingham. That's a lot of seat time for someone new to stock cars. During those 10 hours, he burned through 5 sets of tires. And this time, he was flawless. His car came out without a single scratch. McFarland said it was the greatest day of racing in his entire life. He learned more in 10 hours than expected. The RCR team was incredible. The car felt good. He felt confident. McFarland was no longer just the YouTube guy who struggled in his first test. He was someone willing to work hard, someone who could learn and adapt quickly. Here's what most people missed. Mark Martin didn't just issue a warning, he also defended McFarland strongly. Martin said there are many paths to NASCAR. Some drivers start in karting, they race late models, they climb the traditional ladder. That's one path, but it's not the only path. Throughout NASCAR history, some drivers took different routes. They had sponsors, they had opportunities, they got chances that others didn't get. Martin climbed the traditional ladder himself in the 1980s. But he knows not everyone follows the same route. McFarland is one of those drivers. He built a following doing what he loves. That's his path to racing. Martin believes McFarland is good for NASCAR, good for the sport, good for bringing new fans who might stay long-term. The real test comes April 4th at Rockingham in the actual race. A 10-hour test is different than a 300-lap race. McFarland will race against experienced drivers who have raced at Rockingham multiple times. Mark Martin's warning stands, Rockingham is dangerous. One mistake means a wreck. But McFarland has shown willingness to work. He's willing to learn. He's willing to improve. For McFarland, April 4th will determine his future. If he completes the race without major incidents, people will take him seriously. If he crashes, criticism will intensify. For NASCAR, this is about growth. Can a non-traditional driver bring new fans? For Richard Childress Racing, it's a business decision. McFarland brings attention. Attention brings sponsorship. For Mark Martin, it's about the sport. He wants to see new talent, but he also knows Rockingham is unforgiving. Mark Martin issued a warning. Rockingham is tough. McFarland is inexperienced, but Martin also showed faith in his ability, in his willingness to work.